Nu ska vi se. Är vi live där och ska vi vänta på just waiting for this one och så ska vi se den ska vara av. Och där är vi igång på Instagram också. Perfect. There we go. Hey everyone, and we're live. It's a Wednesday morning. It's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday morning. It's 9 a.m. You're watching Innovation Fika with me, Donny, and of course, wonderful, fantastic guests talking about incredible things. And just a half an hour coffee break every week with me and friends. We've moved time to 9 a.m. Wednesday mornings instead. So it's the traditional Swedish Nya Fikat. And you can find all of the episodes as usual on YouTube. We broadcast live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram, sometimes on TikTok, not today. And then all the recordings are on YouTube. So after this episode, you will find 163 episodes with approximately 155 different guests on YouTube, which is quite cool. Awesome. As you come online, please add your comments and where you're from. Here we go. Our dear friend Yash. Hey Yash, good to see you. One of our regulars from India. Very nice, very nice. Excellent. And same thing for everybody else. As you come online, get the networking going as well in the comments. With that, as I said, it's only a 30-hour coffee break. It's the world's fastest half an hour. So with that, I will go straight into today's subject and guests. And I will say to my dear guests, as I said to everyone else, so who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Victor. I am the CEO and co-founder at Accord.
Yeah, and I'm Elias, and I'm the CTO and also co-founder of Accord.
Okay. You are both students at KTH?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Right. Current or post?
Yeah, I'm studying third year in media technology.
Yeah, okay. And I'm the fourth year in computer science.
Okay, cool. And then we have this app thing. There's a third guy as well, right? That's a third,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. The third guy, Marcus.
But he had some wisdom tooth thing yesterday.
Yeah, he pulled them all out. So he's two of them at least.
Yeah.
Two or three. I got a picture. I don't want to go too deep into it.
I've done that as well. I know.
Yeah. So he won't be too productive today or tomorrow maybe, but he'll get back at the end of the week.
Yeah, but he did sign up to a Zoom meeting, so it's still in the loop.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah. Well, then if you are online, I'll see you. Say hi as well in the chat, please. Always good to see people coming online in the chat. So, okay, so let's get into the Accord app then that you've developed together and also now released. But I love the story. I don't know if anybody knows about the Accord app, but I'll just do this as well. Hang on a minute. We have to give our guests here. We had Victor Fredrikson and Elias Floreteng, Accord app. And what we're talking about is the Accord app that you can find on accordapp.com, right?
Exactly.
That's the one. Right. Cool. So what is the Accord app?
So Accord is a household organizing app that helps families and couples to actually get all the household chores and activities done by creating, like in a super easy way, creating routines, like structures to the entire family's household organizing.
Okay. And I almost said, and this is a problem?
Exactly.
I was gonna ask you the normal question. What need are you addressing? I don't think we need to go there, but if we do talk about the need, then because some people might say, okay, so what do you mean household chores? And yeah, so what the actual need thing, how it arose as well. That's a fun story.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that if you don't mind, I'll tell that.
Yeah, no, please do.
Yeah, so I was still living at home with my family, and my dad always had to nag at me to get the laundry. And I had just started programming at KTH. I wasn't good at all, but he was like, okay, he programs at KTH. So one day he had enough and said why don't you just program an app? So I don't, exactly. So I don't have to nag anymore.
Yeah.
And I pitched that idea to Marcus, who's not here right now. But that was the start.
That was the start. Then I just say hi to, let's see here as well. Let's say hi to Anita. Good to see you as well. Awesome. No, but the funny thing is, of course, that you are the, you personified the Rocky strip. I think we sent you the Rocky, the dog, the cartoon strip. Where they're going around downtown and his friend says something about a problem and then Rocky says like, well, there's a KTH student somewhere that can just program an app.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's exactly what happened when your dad says, you're at KTH, just fix it. Which is kind of, what's what we do at KTH. We like just fix stuff, right? So what did the app do then? I mean, how does it work? How does it work?
I can take that note. It works by organizing the structure of what chores need to be done and what kind of routines that need to be in place for the whole family to know what they're doing and like actually get it done. And you can follow up, like, have they done it?
Yeah.
Because the problem is like, okay, you can implicitly have a structure in the family, like, oh, I usually vacuum and I usually clean the windows or whatever. Yeah. But no one knows. You haven't written it down. You haven't said it explicitly. Kind of just falls into place, and that can it's super complicated. And like, if you miss out 1 week, you don't really know what the other person, they will fill in, or it can get complicated if you don't have a structure. So the app creates a structure around it, like with the routines and who needs to do what and when, so you actually get it done.
So first we agree upon what we're going to do and who's going to do what and when. And we create some kind of a schedule for that. And then as I do things, do I check them off or what?
Exactly. So a lot of people like to, because recently we've talked a lot to our power users, which is really cool. And to go on a tangent, it was from actually the event you did with Daniel Ek, where he talked a lot about that. So that's cool. We've been talking a lot to our power users. And the thing there is that they like to set it as repeating the different tasks.
Of course.
So as you check them off, like you said, when you've done something, they just pop up the next week or the next day, depending on the frequency.
Which makes all the sense in the world, because that's the never-ending cycle of the washing. You do all the washing and everything is clean, and then some strange way the washing basket just fills up again. It's a repeating cycle, so that makes all the sense in the world. But that's okay. So that's the app itself, and we get that, and one could say, well, that's why hasn't anybody done that before, kind of thing. But I think this also comes down to a lot of things that we work with here and that we see is that there's one thing to know sort of you could fix it like this. And then there's a second thing of actually doing it. So there's actually an app which is good enough that people want to use as well that does it. I mean, that's just because you know how to fix it doesn't mean that you've got the whole thing, right?
No.
So then you have to build something, and then when you've built it, you're not finished. That's your kind of when you're starting, and then you have to do the next part of it.
Yeah.
And that's also a really cool part. I mean, that's one of the reasons I wanted you on the show today is also because the maybe on the surface simple app that solves a very complicated problem that we talked about making something simple is really, really complicated. Making something complicated is really, really simple. So I think you've managed to turn that around, but then you've also, which I think is the biggest reason you're here and the biggest thing when we talk about as well, is the enormous spread that this app, boom. I mean, we really hit on something here because tell me about the whole media coverage thing as well.
Yeah, so I think it started with we contacted a small newspaper here in Stockholm, which is called Mitt I. Maybe some people know about it.
Like a super local regional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're Eastern Hammarby or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we started there, and we got one article where they talked about us, and we got some, because that was right before we launched the app.
Yeah.
So there we got some beta testers of the app, and then this rippled into P4 contacting us.
The radio, the local radio station.
Exactly, still pretty small, and we had a small 2-minute live show or something. And then we had an article at KTH, so they wrote an article about us. And that article, a huge news agency found and had read on. So they wanted to, and they're called AFP.
Yeah.
You knew I don't remember, agency press. de France.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
So they came here and did.
They came here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They were in the other room.
I love it. Yeah.
And did like interviews and like with cameras and everything like that. And we also went to a family that had used the app because this
with
is when,
them. And
exactly,
okay.
exactly. And they interviewed them, and it was like a.
And did
big
they
thing.
say good things then, the family?
Yeah, they did. Fortunately.
Unscripted.
Yeah. Yeah, and this took off like on, especially in France, where they were like I think you wrote it in the, the biggest news media in France, and being on the like 8 o'clock news where they're talking about Accor.
I love it. So you had Le Parisien,
Le Figaro,
Le Figaro.
And
Brut.
Brut.
And then also in Sweden, like Omni, Riks FM, which was a fun one. But
so what did Riks FM do?
They were like talking about some like it was in their news like thing, and then they were like talking about some horrible thing that had happened in the world, and then in the end it was like. And this new app that 3 KTH students have made to like solve the family issues.
Well, at least we can solve that.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, I'm making a joke of it, and I usually make a joke of this, but it's sort of kind of, it's kind of a serious tinge to it as well, because like every morning in the gym, right? I'm the guy that goes around, putting. Re-racking the weights, picking up after people, and if I've ever come up to you in the morning at 6:30 and said, rack your weights, dude, then I don't mean anything. It's no offense, nothing personal. We're just trying to keep the gym a nice place, okay? Some people take offense, but mostly people go, oh, sorry, So anyway, but then I always make a joke of it. What I say, it's like it's a small grain of sand of order in a desert of chaos. Which is like the world we're living in. And I feel that what is so sympathetic about you and the app and what you're doing is that, especially, and I actually think this, especially when people are, in the world that it is now, and people they don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It just feels great to be able to, fix something which is very, very tangible, right in front of you. And I think that's actually a very, very important thing, because if you have disorder everywhere, then everything is chaos. But if you can at least sort of order your sort of close, I think that makes a big thing. So I think actually these guys are doing a very important thing, especially these days. So yeah. So that's cool. So that was Riks FM, but I'm still curious about the family, the agency. What did they kind of say? And I didn't actually see that part of the.
Yeah, they talked about like how the like when you're at work, you have all these like structured organizing tools to work in the team, like even in the smaller teams, you have
Slack and Trello and Asana and whatever.
Exactly, and everything is like neatly packed. But then when you come home, you have like almost nothing of this, or nothing like
maybe just a handwritten note on the refrigerator.
Exactly. So, and you can't like take that like sort of work tools into the family, of course. They were like, this was something like completely new, and we felt like it was like directed towards us and like the family situation. And it was not like, you can also use it for your family. So it was like,
no,
really,
it wasn't like, I use it at work, you can take it at home as well. This was specifically for the family.
So that was like getting that sort of structure for them was a big thing. Elias, do you remember like anything else?
Also that they liked the way they could follow up on each other and like remind each other about if someone is lacking, like in a not so intrusive way, just tell them, oh right, you maybe forgot about this.
But I think that's the thing as well. I know, because I personally think that I write sometimes on LinkedIn. It has happened.
Uncommon.
But I actually wrote about micro adjustments and the both the ability to constantly give, micro feedback, as in, small nudges of going in the right direction, to also being able to take that. And I'm coming back to the gym situation again, where, if something happens, you just say, oh, you dropped something, or you forgot that or whatever.
Yeah.
And you take that in mid-step. And then if the other person goes, oh, cool, no problem, thanks. And, and it does it. Then no harm done.
No.
It's just a small micro adjustment.
Yeah.
It's not that I've been going around there for like 3 days being annoyed upon that thing is still there. And after 3 days, I like explode.
Yeah.
I go, that kind of thing.
And then one person gets to take all the...
Which is usually the thing when it comes to, things that don't get done, right? Is you wait too long and you nag and nothing gets done. So, and I think that the whole sort of, and the same thing in traffic, like when you're either driving a car or on a bike, whatever. And this, you always sort of like seek eye contact. And if somebody like makes a mistake and you go, oh, oops, my bad.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing more, and everybody's cool. I know it's not so. So the whole sort of idea of sort of micro adjustments and nudges and this nice way of doing it, I think that is also a part of creating a good environment in a family or in any workspace, where you have to be able to micro adjust all the time, and you have to be able to take micro adjustments all the time without being offended that it's just that somebody's saying, oh, you're going the wrong way, okay, cool, other way. No problem about that. So I think that's a big thing as well. I'm super excited to see where this will go, because obviously there's a lot. The whole world is waiting for you, right?
Yeah, got a lot of things to do, and just today we're doing a new update. Not a huge one, but it's some for performance. So
new update today.
Check out. Yeah, check it out.
Okay. Anything you can?
I don't know if it's like visible in that sense. Right now we're looking at like I talked about before, talking a lot to our users.
Oh yeah, you just said that before. You're getting a lot of data back as well from your users now.
Definitely.
Yeah. Exactly. Both like qualitatively, like from them actually telling us, and also looking at the bigger picture, like quantitatively. So just one fun thing is like we get to see what is the most common chore we can say at least in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so with some
cool. I like this.
Do you have a guess? I don't want to put you on the spot. But...
No. But I mean, my sort of initial guess would be either like chore. It would be like picking up your clothes or hoovering or doing the dishes. Not doing the dishes, but probably the clothes thing or the cleaning thing, or maybe the hoovering thing. I don't know.
Is hoovering vacuuming?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it is.
It's vacuuming. Yeah.
Okay.
All across the board, because we have in the different languages, and it's that's the number one.
Yeah.
And it's also the from we heard from the users, like the most hated one.
That is so interesting, because in my household we have this. I don't know if it's kind of become some people do certain things like kind of thing, and I'm the Hoover guy. I'm the vacuum guy, because I don't mind doing that.
Okay.
The other things I just I hate doing.
Yeah.
So in our household it works quite well, because we're kind of doing what we enjoy doing, right? But I've heard that before, that people they hate the whole Hoover thing, and that's probably why the whole robot Hoover vacuum things are so popular, even though they suck. But I mean, make a joke of that. They would probably suck better, but but it's that probably. So that okay. So vacuuming.
But then like overall, like getting to talk to the users, I feel like it's the biggest thing, because.
But it is a big thing.
Yeah,
you have to.
Yeah.
Right, and we're always trying to like make improvements. Now we see our power users going in a certain direction, and we want to like help, because they are like actually getting a huge boost from the app by just using it. So now we're trying to like encourage all the other users to also like make their own version of it and like copy the power users kind of, because they are the ones that like get a super huge boost. Yeah, and if we can apply that to all of the users, they can get an even bigger boost.
Of course.
So we're trying to like optimize the flow.
Yeah. But you said you picked up some things when you were listening to Daniel Ek down at Nimble, because we had Daniel Ek, the founder of Spotify. He came here and spoke to 500 students and researchers at KTH a month ago or something. So what did you pick up from his talk?
I mean, one of the biggest things were that for when creating an app, like it's your baby. You like it, and like you want to make it as good as you can. But another thing is also the users, of course, have like feedback, and they have their own ideas of what can be added. And like we try to balance that. Like how do you balance that?
Yeah.
What is like, okay, this feature I know will be a good feature for them, but they don't know it yet. And what features do they want, but not necessarily can't necessarily be implemented in that way. Like if you want like when horses were going out of style, you wanted a faster horse, but why not create a car instead? Like it's a completely different thing. So they don't know what they're asking for. But there is, of course, a balance. And what he said was that like that 70-30% was like a good estimate of how he did it at Spotify. So that was one big like feedback point that we got, that okay, we're trying to find our own balance there.
I think that's important. I think also that is one of the most difficult things as an entrepreneur. You're always in this sort of pivot or persevere. I mean, how much should we listen to people and change what we're doing based on what they say, and how much should we persevere and trust what we know or feel, we don't know, but feel is, or what we want to do. And that sort of constant sort of trying to, do we change or do we stick to it and trust us, it's going to be good, or do we change because they want it? And that's another thing that you said there was, I usually, when I talk to companies, I say, speak to your customers as much as you can, but don't necessarily listen to exactly what they say, because they can't articulate exactly what they, you're saying the faster horse analogy, of course. So but if you listen to how, what they describe as a pain point and what they have a problem with it, what they would, I wish I could solve this kind of thing. That will sort of, with your knowledge of what you can build, will help you sort of create stuff that hopefully can solve that. Yeah. So, but it's hoovering, isn't it? Let's go back to the hoovering part, because we can do a whole episode on hoovering. I'm convinced.
You're the guy.
But I'm thinking that there's I don't know if this is a fact anymore, but way back in when hoovers started coming, when they were started being developed, there were different cultures as well, and I still think it's like that. I mean, some places, the Dyson Hoovers, the ones that like they look really nice, and then they're almost meant to be put out
as a nice thing,
as to see, right? And because people use them. Well, every day I do a thing with the Hoover, and I don't Hoover every day. I do my a regular Hoover session, exactly the same time, exactly the same day, every single week. It's like clockwork. And then the Hoover comes out of the cupboard, and then I do the hoovering, and then it goes back in the cupboard. But have you seen different, like in different cultures, that in some places people hoover every day, like a little bit, or in some cultures people hoover every month? How often do people hoover? How often do you hoover out there? How often do people hoover? Weekly, monthly, daily?
I mean, most people weekly, I think, from what we've seen.
Exactly, because if you're looking at like the repeating frequency of like the vacuum, but it's also like being somewhere like really specific in like where in the house are you hoovering. So it's a tricky question, but maybe in some way you could like map that out.
Well, you realize that in a year or two you'll be able to put out the household chore report that you can release and on a yearly basis, saying here's how the division of all household chores have changed over the last couple of years, and you can do demographics and then you can do different cultures and the age groups and in age group so and so the
distribution is even more fair or whatever it is.
I mean, you could probably do tons of different kinds of interesting reports from that, and also look at of course the whole difference in gender and things like that. Do you see any difference in age groups or gender when it comes to who does which chores?
I mean, there is a difference, of course, but we generally see like women taking more responsibility for creating the structure, not necessarily only like getting things done, because that's yeah, it depends on a lot of factors, and every household is different. But in general, there is some like manager that manages what needs to be done and kind of assigns it to the other people. So there's always someone with that role.
Yeah,
what we see at least.
We had a huge discussion about that at home. Not about who does what, but about. I want to do an episode on this because there was an article in the paper that was talking about that, and it was. And I'm trying to be completely unbiased here. I'm trying to be neutral. But the article was written in a very biased way. And the article was written by a person who wrote that women are forced to be the project managers at home, which is. I'm not saying that's not true, not at all. No. I'm saying that is usually a fact, the way it is, but. The choice of words was, I felt a bit unfortunate because I would also add that sometimes the very many women take the role of project management at home, accept or take or decide or whatever word you want to use, semi-forced, semi-take, because it's. I think it's an interesting discussion about the whole gender bias thing because we're kind of programmed to. Fit into a role kind of thing. But if you've been in a solo household, I've been living by myself for a lot of years, then you do everything. Yeah. It's not like I'm sitting at home going, well, there's no woman here now, so nothing's going to be done. For Christ's sake, it's a stupid thing. You do it. It's just do it. And then the whole male-female thing, for me at least, hasn't been a big thing. No. And now I do live with a female, but we have a very good sort of division of who does what. So I think that's an interesting thing. But anyway, so I'm coming back to you. Sorry, off topic there, but on topic. But
but it's interesting. Yeah,
I think that in a couple of years, let's do a repeat in like 2027 or something. By the way, 2027, KTH 200 years, and KTH Innovation 20 years.
Wow,
big year. No, let's do a repeat in a couple of years, and then we can do the annual Accord household chore statistic report.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, and then you can start doing. Well, this year we can see the change and now that
and the best way to do it, like
exactly.
a template for
exactly.
Ultimate.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And here's the family with the most non-repeat things and prizes and things. No, but that would be actually quite cool because then you can also start tracking things like since we can see now that after implementing the Accord app, the quality has actually increased, and we've seen change in chores. It would be really cool to do that.
Yeah.
In 2 years, Accord, Victor and Elias, and probably Marcus as well. Then, if he hasn't decided to pull out the other 2 years.
No, we'll see.
It's 9:28. This is just a 30-minute coffee break, Nya Fikat chat with interesting people. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome to have you here, and I am thrilled to see also how fun the whole thing. We got this article in, and that gave the radio that gave the article that gave this, and how things actually work together. So follow these guys. Go to let's get that banner up again. Go to accordapp.com. Download the app. Try it out. Send them feedback. They're always
we love the feedback.
They love feedback. They love speaking to people. See you in a few years. Yes, of course. Let's see. Thank you, Victor, Elias, and Donnie. I like the concept of this app. I wish you luck with it. Thank you. You should, hey Yash, speak to these guys and get this thing relaunched in India and help them run that over.
That'd be
feels
cool.
like there's a few more households in India. So Yash, get in touch with these guys and help them out in India. Awesome. Let's see. Petter Silberberg, Skafo family. Perfect, Petter. Wonderful.
Nice. Yeah.
You see? And just like that, we got another user.
Yeah.
Just like that. It was worth the whole half an hour.
Definitely.
User acquisition.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. And probably not see you before next week. So Merry Christmas as well. God jul to everyone. And take care.